Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJ Trip, and I am coming at you here with sort of a movie review. I've just finished watching the Andre the Giant documentary on HBO. So, since a documentary could be a movie review, it gets nominations for Oscars on docs do. So, we're gonna go ahead and put this in the movie review section. What an incredible thing! This was incredible. I think we unfortunately know how everything ends, and with his passing in 1993. But there were just so many other things that go on, and I think a lot of wrestling fans know about the giganticism. Disease. We know not only from Andre the Giant, but also we know from the Big Show. Because the Big Show has the same disease. I think the difference is that they said in the documentary that Andre never went to a doctor. The first time he went to a doctor was when he hurt his ankle. And he went there to get his ankle fixed, and that's when they found out about everything. And there was even some thought that if he had got that version, and I believe Big Show, that's what Big Show did. Big Show got that operation done, and and so everything for him stopped growing and stopped being overly enlarged, but that didn't happen with Andre. First of all, Big Show was a lot younger when he got his surgery to fix it. Andre was I think a little bit older than when he found out. He was in his 30s, probably. So, and he didn't want to deal with that. He just wanted to kind of continue on. But they go through everything. They talk about good stuff, bad stuff, funny stuff. They talk about how when you are a giant, things are not made for you. Cars are not made for you. Clothes cannot be made for you. Airplane seats cannot be made for you. Bathrooms are not made for you. So, and then not the fact that we have this thing where people, they want to talk bad about you, and Hogan, who's a very big part of this documentary. And I know some people, because of Hogan's recent past and the stuff that's come out about Hogan, him using the N-word and everything, I know a lot of people are probably not too keen with seeing a lot of Hogan, but Hogan is a big part of Andre, and they tell you why. They give you the reasons why he was in a lot of things. But there's a story about how they get off the plane, and you can hear, and he's hearing people talking bad about him, and calling him all types of names and everything like that, and because he's obviously a giant. And so there was a lot of heartbreak in this documentary. There's a lot of tragedy, but there's also a lot of joy, because he loved being the giant that could come into a territory and give the fans a show. And you had heard some rumors about Andre being being the type of guy that would he if he liked you, he liked you, but if he didn't like you, then there was, some things going on down there, and Hogan tells a story about he didn't like he didn't like Randy. He didn't like Randy Savage, and and anytime he got in the ring, he was gonna give it to Randy, and he said the one time, Randy came in there with baby oil on him and everything, and he's like, "Oh yeah, brother, can I talk to your boss?" And that's all. And that's one thing. They him and everybody that knew him, they and the boss, I said, "How you doing, boss? Let's go, boss." That's the way they spoke to each other. And "Oh yeah, this is brother, can I, boss? Can I talk to you? Baby oil, get out!" And all the great stories like that. Didn't like the Iron Sheik, so there was a lot of things that it was talked about, and I think one of the big things that before I continue on this. If they were talking about the man's, I know they wanted like they wanted everything. They wanted the highs and the lows and the all in between the third, and of course there have always been stories about him and the drinking, and Ric Flair said like he sat down and drunk like 106 beers with him, and they talked about the Princess Bride. They talked about the Princess Bride. And he had drunk 20 bottles of some champagne that came out and he wasn't drunk. So and just everything. So all the stories they talk, and they went through everything in this documentary about Andre the Giant. This was. This is amazing. And Ric Flair, they talk about, they went into talking about like the ladies' man. They say he didn't know about his girlfriends or anything like that. Hogan said the ladies, said the ladies loved Andre the Giant, and then Ric Flair goes, he wears a size 24 ring, he got a size 22 shoe. Why else do you think they liked him? Only the Nature Boy, right? Only the Nature Boy. I think for me this was a fantastic documentary about Andre and about his life and everything like that. I think two of the biggest things I think that came away from me was one, the whole thing with WrestleMania, how they were building up to WrestleMania. And Andre had just had apparently Andre was done. He was done wrestling. He just wanted to go home, and according to Vince McMahon, just wanted to live out the rest of his life. But Vince kind of convinced him to come back because there's this, he had WrestleMania 3. He had thought that the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, would be a great host, and it would be a great thing for Andre the Giant, who was a legend everywhere. He went to every territory back in those days, in those wrestling days, in the 70s and the early 80s. There was territories. So and he went to those territories, and he was a star in every territory. And it's up that it would be good that he would go out and he would put over Hulk Hogan in WrestleMania 3. And that's what would happen. But it wasn't going to be very easy. He wasn't going to make it easy for Hogan, because in Hogan, he claims that he would be okay with with doing the job to Andre. He had no problem with that. Andre was his friend, and that's what it was gonna be. But they had, they had that conversation where Vince told him no. We actually want you to go over. Like, is Andre gonna be okay with that? And so and Andre kind of Andre, well, he let him on. Balls, yeah, you'll see when we get out there. And so then like maybe like the biggest thing out there is that Hogan sat down with Vince and he wrote down he put a Randy Savage. He wrote down everything he wanted to happen in the match. What he wanted to go down the match, and then he left the finish open. And so he gave it to Vince. Vince goes and gives it to Andre. Now, and Vince, showing mad respect to Andre himself, let Hogan on. He just said he didn't say that Andre was playing with him, nothing like that. He just kept saying, Andre told me he's gonna do the job. He's gonna put you over, and it was just hilarious. So and then they started showing the clips, and he swings and he blocks. Okay, so that's okay. So we're doing this. So they get to the end of the match, and Andre called a body slam. So Hogan body slams him. Then when he falls down, the leg drop. And so then Hogan goes up and hits the leg drop. And it's the 1, 2, 3, and history has been made in the Silverdome, right? So I thought that was, see, I love things like that in all sports, but especially professional wrestling. That's great. There are sometimes when I do lean for those days when like that, when I'm not smart, when I wasn't smart, and I can just sit back and I can just watch and cheer for my baby faces and boo the heels, and I didn't know, and I don't know what a job is, and I don't know what the phrase put over. I don't know the phrase baby face or heel. It's the good guy, the bad guy, or I don't know what's supposed to happen. I don't know who's supposed to win, or how they're gonna do this, or anything like that. Sometimes I yearn for those days, especially when you see some of the stuff that goes on today. But then, if that was a lot, kayfabe, which was back then, everybody had to put up a front, basically. We are showing this as this is a real contest. So, but even though we aren't really doing a real contest and it's predetermined, but those things like the documentary you just saw with Andre the Giant is one of the reasons why I think kayfabe, to a certain extent, killing kayfabe was the best. And letting people, so that we can get stories like that, so we can let people in on what that is. I mean, that was just amazing. I love hearing things like that. And then that was one of the two things that I thought I took away from that was that match. And I think another thing I took away from this one was, I think that wrestling, it is predetermined, but it's a part of us. It is a part of us, the sports landscape. And I think that those moments in time when you are there and you are in the moment and you are in that world, those are just some of the good old times. And my first name is Andre, And I used to get it all the time when I was younger. Under the Giant, Under the Giant, Under the Giant. And I was very fond of it. You know, I was a fan of his. You know, because and I was a fan of it because you know he had by the middle of '88, I believe he had turned back face. You know, he had turned face for WrestleMania 3 in 1987, right? That would have been 87. Yeah, so 87, and so he would have turned heel for that, but and then he was heel in '88 for the tournament at WrestleMania 4, but he was like I said, by middle of '88, and maybe sometime before '99, I believe he had turned back face, and that's when he had become big again, and people calling me Under the Giant and things like that. So this is good old fashioned stuff, and with ESPN's doing Ric Flair 30 for 30 and HBO doing Andre the Giant, it's just proving how much professional wrestling has been a part of our lives, and how big it is, and how much of an influence it has on us, and I hate that. I don't hear it often, but I still hate the fact that you probably every now and then still do hear something about talking down about wrestling, not giving it the respect that it deserves. Is it legitimate competition? No, it's predetermined. But they are tremendous athletes. They are maybe some of the best athletes in the world. The stuff that they do, a lot of us could not do. A lot of 99% of us could not do. And at 1%, they can do it, they probably will end up doing it. So this was just fantastic. I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars. I thought this was just an incredible documentary. HBO and Bill Simmons should be proud of this, and anybody else who had anything else to do with it. I'm sure obviously WWE did, because they had a lot of their footage, and a lot of and they own a lot of footage from the other territories and like that. So yeah, really good. Y'all need to go see it if you haven't seen it already. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you thought were the best things about this, about this part. Tell me what you thought were the worst things about this thing. Tell me what things that did you not know, did you hear about, were you surprised at, anything like that. So yeah, your takeaways from this documentary. One of my takeaways is that I talked about Andre the Giant kind of messing with Hogan about if he was really gonna do the favors for him, and I'm so surprised, because from all the stuff that we know, all the stuff we know from Hulk Hogan and Hulk Hogan's career, how did he not learn from that to be to not do that for? I don't know. So whatever. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you so much for watching. This is your boy AJ Tripp signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there, and I am out.